one of the deaths that just stays with
Of
you
course.
in like movie watching history, right? And it comes so out of like, obviously I was a child when I was watching it, so I didn't see it coming, and I remember the shock. I remember how quiet it was in the theater when it happened, because in my mind, Ricky is gonna go to USC, become a running back, play for the Oakland Raiders, and then he's gonna, get his family out the hood and everything's gonna be all good. And that's not what happened, right?
Mm-mm.
And in fact, it's absolute tragedy. So the way that that was delivered and the way that they make you care about the character and his family and his child and his girl and all that, it's just executed so well. And in this genre of movies, the only thing that's like kind not it's not close, but it kind of reminds me of it is, remember when Tupac killed Raheem
Mm.
in Juice? Like after they, like, you didn't see that coming. You
No.
didn't know, like, you could tell Tupac's character, you could tell Bishop was wild, but you didn't know that Bishop was gonna
Mm-mm.
kill
Not even close.
Raheem. Like that was
That's your
like,
man's.
what?
Yeah.
That's your man. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was that crazy. So that the execution of that scene and everything led to it. Cake,
I'll take it, man.
cake, cake, cake,
You
cake.
know what? The crazy thing is, like, I didn't see that death happening either. But when you talked about it in the pre-production meeting, it's plausible now. And I don't know, like you said, if it's due to
Yeah.
being jaded and older and more quote unquote experienced, or the fact that like you can see certain stories develop and it's
Mhm.
inevitable that it leads to this particular conclusion if you're going to talk about these types of injustices. Um,
Yeah.
the fact that, we've seen this story so many times over and over and over, you do become desensitized to it, except where the characters are so much a part of your not only movie experience but maybe even your life. I know it sounds a little audacious, but I mean, like, who doesn't remember Ricky or
Yeah.
or hearing the
It's
screams Ricky and then
yeah.
running in slow motion and everything like that?
Yeah.
Like this becomes a part of the cinematic experience where you're thinking something has to happen on that magnitude, on that scale, to grab my attention.
Yeah. And you're watching the scene always thinking, why doesn't he zigzag?
Yeah. Right. Or you think that he's gonna make it. You keep hoping that
Right.
he's gonna make it.
You always watch it thinking, why does he zigzag? And the thing is, like, it's done so well that you remember, what's the joint called? Oh, it was just in my head. Not straight out of, oh, straight up
Yeah,
menace. No,
yeah.
a menace to society.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Kane wasn't gonna make it. Like I
You
knew,
think so?
like I knew that. I knew there was no chance he was gonna
Wow.
make it out of there, man. Because I saw Ricky. I knew if
Mm.
Ricky wasn't making it out, ain't none of these dudes gonna
Nah,
make
I
it out.
thought this was
Because
like this has to be the
Ricky was
difference.
supposed Ricky was supposed to get out. He
Nah.
was supposed to have that life, and it was taken from him. And I just thought it was executed so well. So,
That's
shout
tough.
outs to John Singleton for how he delivered that one,
But
man.
not just this movie itself. I just want to make sure we're clear. This movie also had a dope soundtrack for that time, man. If you didn't
Mhm.
like Tevin Campbell on the joint, I mean, in that scene where Ricky's running through the tires and stuff, like I was like, yo, I
Yeah,
gotta get that joint. As a kid, I was like, yo, I might have to go
yeah,
cop that tape. The fact that you got just me and you on the joint, Tony, that still
mhm.
gives play. Um,
Yeah. That's a gem.
Yo,
That is a
the
gem.
fact that they got Compton's Most Wanted, I mean, these are California acts that I don't predominantly listen to, but it was a an
Hmm.
ode to them. I mean, Yo-Yo's on the joint. You had definitely out here though, Main Source, A Friendly Game of Baseball off Breaking
Hmm.
Adams classic album, Nas's introduction on that album. I mean, even Moni Love makes an appearance on there. I mean, High Five is on the joint. Quincy Jones is on the joint. Like, this
Yeah,
movie had a very complimentary soundtrack, man.
yeah, and it's from that time where the soundtrack was good
Oh
too.
yeah, oh yeah,
Like, it's from that time where the movie was good, and then the soundtrack was good also. So it has that. That's a part of it as well,
and
man.
that leads
So,
to a great segue. What you got, my man, with the popcorn, yo?
but wait, I got the hate. I got hate, man.
Ah, here you
I know you don't have. I know you don't have
here
anything. I know you
you
don't have anything.
go.
I know you don't have
Hate,
anything.
hate,
I got a couple of
hate.
things. Yeah, I got a couple of things. I got a couple of things. I'm gonna make it fast though.
Nah, it's all good.
Quick, just three quick things. So one, I never liked, and I don't like it now. I didn't like it when I was a kid either. I never liked Trey lying to Furious about the first time he had sex and then telling him that he didn't use protection either. I just thought that was so dumb. Like, lying is dumb, but then lying and then lying in a way that your dad didn't want you to, that would make your dad angry, is double dumb. Now, like, I just didn't like that. That's my first thing.
Double dumb.
The second thing, and it's kind of related to this, right? I never liked the scene that leads up to Trey having, sex for the first time. Like, the cop pulling him over, putting the gun to his head. Okay, fine, I'm good with that. Him going to his girlfriend's house in the middle of the night, where her parents, we don't know, but okay, fine. He goes in, has a manic breakdown, punching air, all this kind of stuff. It's like Cuba Gooding Jr. was trying to win an Academy Award. That's what it feels like when I'm watching the scene. And then by the way, Nia Long, who we didn't even mention,
Not even,
but Nia Long is in this movie. And she's like, all right, let's do it. Like, no, that's not how that goes. No, that's not how that goes. I just don't like those two things. And then and we also didn't hit on it too much, was Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett is in this movie.
Oh, and last but not least, Tasha Smith, who is like the all-time villain for Black female actresses.
Right. For all the movies that she's in. But Angela Bassett is there, and it's like Angela Bassett is like Felicia Rashad to me. If she's in something, give me more. Mm-hmm. Like, I've never been like, okay, I saw too much.
Angela Bassett in this movie. Never.
Let me see some more of that. So that was my three things. Not a lot, not significant, but I everything around like Trey's sex life just bothers me in this movie. And by the way, as a quick sidebar, man, I was watching. I was just thinking about like how every young movie of that time always had like this storyline of the boy trying to get the girl to have sex with him for the first time. Like, it's in this movie, it's in The Wood, it's in The Inkwell. All of these movies had that in it. Yeah. And it's like, now as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's so nasty. Don't do that. don't fall for it, girl. Like, now, you get to be old. You're a father. You got a daughter or daughters. You like, don't fall for that. You look at it completely differently than you did when you were young and you were watching like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, Trey was right. Yeah. No, Trey's wrong. Don't fall for that. And all the arguments are correct. Like, when Nia Long is breaking it down, we're not together. I don't know if we're gonna be together. We're not married. I'm gonna marry you one day. What does that have to do with now? That's stupid.
And who says I'm gonna marry you anyway?
Right. That's right.
Yeah, these are horrible arguments, yo.
So that's what I got, man. I got that. All right, to the popcorn.
Oh man, what you got, man? What you rolling with?
4. I got 4 boxes. I'm giving it 4 boxes. It's it's a solid movie. It's very well done. I would even venture to say that it's, in my opinion, one of the 10 most important like Black movies from 1980 to 2020.
Wow, that's tough.
And I'm gonna give it it's 4 boxes. I don't know anybody who hasn't seen Boyz n the Hood. I've never talked to anybody who has not seen it. And if this movie isn't done as well as it is, there's a lot of movies that don't get made.
Yep.
You may never get Higher Learning, which I really like. Higher Learning. You might never get.
You don't get Menace to South Central.
Yeah, you might Menace to Society. You might not get Menace.
Yeah,
right. You won't get Snowfall.
No,
which me and you loved that show. Ooh. You won't get that if this doesn't work out. And then think about Ice Cube's career.
Mm-hmm.
If he crashes out in this, maybe you don't get Barbershop.
Not even.
Maybe look at those movies.
Friday,
look at all the things. The Friday movies. Look at all of those things that you get from this being successful. So that's what I got.
No, that's definitely key. And in that same vein, I think this is a classic. No superlatives. So it's not a Black movie. It's not a hood classic. Nah, I'm going straight classic. No superlatives whatsoever. Just straight classic. 5 boxes of popcorn. That gourmet stuff.
Got it. The high quality. Conflict free.
You know it.
There it is. Conflict free popcorn. All right, let's get into the questions, man.
Here we go.
What you got? What you got, man? I know what deep questions do you have this week about a movie?
Uh,
Go ahead, man.
do men, in particular black men, have to take more
Here we go.
responsibility in raising their children, especially boys?
Good question. Once again, very deep question, right? Which I like. The answer, I think the answer is yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to say this is why. Because if you're a black man and you have a son and you're in America, the history of America and America's interaction with black people and black men in particular requires a presence that is going to help to define manhood and masculinity in a way that is culturally responsible to being a black person.
Mm.
And only your father or another man can give that to you. I've said this before, so it's nothing new there. The idea of what passes for masculinity and manhood in different races of people is different.
Yep.
So, what black manhood and masculinity looks like is different than Asian manhood. It's different than Latino manhood. It's different than white manhood, and that's fine. And that's all of those can be legitimate. But the cultural and historical context that shapes the reality of what it means to be a black man in America requires then that also that black man have black men to help guide him through that.
I dig it, man. I like that answer.